Bethel University Women's Volleyball Media Day here today in Mishawaka, Indiana. I'm Paul Condry, the longtime voice of the Pilots, joined by the Hall of Famer, Katie Weiss. We're glad to have Katie here with us on Media Day. And obviously, this time around, coming off a 29-win season, but you didn't win the national championship. So the season coming in as it was a year ago was a little different. I know that you and I think you would openly admit that your team didn't perform the way you wanted them to in postseason play, but they're still a solid, great core of kids coming back. So let's talk about the transitioning. A year ago, we were having this conversation. Coming off the championship, this year, you didn't win the championship. So how is it coaching different, or is there no difference whatsoever?
Yeah, I definitely feel like at the end of the season last year, we didn't perform the way I had hoped, that you envision ending a season playing your best. And I think we finished, conference playing our best, and then postseason kind of laid an egg. So, yeah, I do feel like that changes the way that we coach as we go into this preseason, just making sure that our standards are high, our expectations are high, and we are just never letting them, take a day off or have a bad practice. Like it's all out, all or nothing. So yeah, it's been intense and it's been great. I'm excited for this year.
Well, you should be excited because you've got first team All-American, second team All-American. You got 3 gals who made high honors in Crossroads League and a talented group. But let's start and introduce our captains today. And I know that we've already had conversations with Maddie Beaver, but you've got some other gals who have earned that important C on their jersey. Who are the gals who are captains this season?
Yeah, so this season, returning captain, Maddie Payne. And obviously she's an incredible young woman. Not only is she very talented, but she's a fantastic teammate. So her team has recognized her as a captain for 2 years now, and just earned every bit of that. She does a great job leading our team. Hannah Dull is a senior, and she's a captain this year, and she's going to do a phenomenal job of leading. And, Hannah is someone that works incredibly hard at what she does, and she just plays with such heart. So she's a phenomenal kid. She's a great teammate. She's going to be a good captain. And then we have super senior Maddie Beaver as captain, which I'm thrilled. It's about time, and she's going to do a great job as well. She's got it all together, and she does a good job just knowing all the facts, keeping her team on track, and she's going to be awesome at it. Yeah.
Well, let's speak to the fact about Maddie Beaver, because here was a person who has been with you the entire time you've been here, so you kind of get an idea where she's at. You've watched her grow up mentally, emotionally, physically, from a skinny kid coming out of high school to being a solid competitor. And talk about how you feel that she's going to be from a leadership standpoint. We already know that she can play the game.
Right.
But how will she be as a leader?
Yeah, I think sometimes people have this idea of leadership, and that it's, bossing people around, telling people what to do, or maybe having all the answers or never being wrong. And, I think Maddie has really gained so much in maturity, obviously from the time she was a freshman until now. Just seeing her grow into a young woman that really understands, like, I'm not perfect and I don't have to be perfect. Our perfection as Christians is Christ in us. Right. And Maddie had such a great summer, our mission trip that we took as a team to the Dominican, and we've seen so much growth in those areas. And so out of that understanding and out of that humility, like, she's going to be awesome. Okay,
so let's speak to the fact that this team got all together during the summer, and you guys took the mission trip down to South America. Give us an idea on what it was all about.
Yeah, so we went with Score International, which is this fantastic organization. They really put our trip together, and we were able to run volleyball clinics, play some great volleyball games while we were there, and then also do just wonderful ministry things. So we were able to go to orphanages while we were there. Those times were amazing. Really just when we were getting on the bus to leave different orphanages, I mean, our girls were crying. They didn't want to leave. They had such a connection with those kids. And so we were able to do all sorts of things, like play volleyball with them, braid their hair. They love to braid our hair, color, sing, dance, whatever it was. All of the girls were able to, at some point on this trip, share their testimony of faith and, pray with the people that we met. So not only did we have this great ministry part of it where we were in villages and orphanages and things like that, but then we were also able to compete. And putting on these volleyball clinics was so much fun because the girls were so eager to learn. And then we were able to play volleyball games. And that was just awesome for our team to experience.
All right, let's bring it back to volleyball. The core of your team and the success, 29 wins a year ago. This team was dynamic at home, going 16-3. I don't know what it was about the home cooking or whatever it was, but this team was really, really tough out playing here at home. So let's speak to the fact that this team's dominant home court was fueled by a talented group led by Izzy North Green, of course, who's a first-team All-American. Those just don't happen every day.
Right.
So let's start with her. And then you got Beaver and Payne, of course, who certainly a great 1-2 punch in that regard as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've had such a strong offensive team with Izzy, with Maddie Beaver. And, I think that they're only going to get better as we go. And now we're adding some new people to the mix that are also going to help improve that. So we've got Elisa Schildermans from Belgium, who is fast and exciting to watch. And she's going to help open our pins up a little bit more offensively. So you'll see Cheyenne and Hannah and our right sides being able to just get some great swings, but obviously strong team coming back. And I think coming forward, we're capable of even more this year.
Talk about expectations. The expectations is to go to the NAIA national tournament for the third straight year. And the reality is you want to go deep into that tournament series. You want to win the Crossroads League. And it's hard to make up ground in a league that is one of the best in the United States at the NAIA level. So talk about what you think this team has done during the offseason to enhance their skill set so you can make a deep run in the NAIA tournament and win the Crossroads League regular season and postseason tournament championships.
I think that what they do in the off season, it comes out of a deep desire to be the best that you can be. And that's not something as a coach you can even force. Like, you just got to find kids who want it that bad. And so the kids that I know who have just given all they've got this summer, Elisa's playing beach all summer. As soon as she got out of high school, she's playing beach. She comes here ready. Maddie Beaver's playing sand all summer, keeping that touch on the ball, staying in great shape. Hannah Weiss here all the time, working, getting reps, never skipping a lift. And those types of things are what make us the best that we can be. And so there's only so many things in the off season a coach can control. But when you find players like that are going to push themselves almost as hard as you would push them, then you've got a great team.
You've got some good quarterbacks on this group, too. Jackie Fernandez is back, Paige Hickey, Caroline Mullet, and we mentioned Hannah Dull is going to be back on the floor this year.
Yeah.
Kind of give us an idea as you talk about those people who are setting things up for that powerful front line.
Right. I mean, we can't do anything without a pass. And so to have Jackie, Rachel, Paige back doing what they do well is, that's step one. If we don't have that, we've got nothing. So I'm really excited for that leadership of the experience that Jackie brings, that Rachel brings. And it's got to start there and it's got to stay there. We got to have good defense.
Well, it's another unique situation for you as you get a chance for the second year now to be able to coach your daughter. And I was here when Mike Lightfoot was the men's basketball coach, and he had a chance to coach his sons. And I've seen coaches coach their sons and daughters everywhere I've gone over the course of my career. I've had some coaches who have kind of ran away and hide from that dynamic. They didn't want to do that. I've had some coaches that said, embrace it. And I've had some coaches who have told me that it was the greatest experience of their coaching life was to be able to coach their own child. And I know you've got 3 more years left so far.
Right.
What's it been so far coaching Hannah?
I mean, I definitely feel incredibly blessed to be able to coach her. It's been challenging at times. we have one-on-one meetings with our team often. And so when I meet with Hannah, it's like, okay, the coach hat's on. This is coach, and then there's times we're like, well, this one can't be separated. So I don't know which hat to put on. But it is truly such a blessing. And she's such a great athlete and teammate. And so I'm blessed to be a part of her journey. I can't imagine it any other way.
You got some other young kids who are going to have to play well. We mentioned Abby Menon, who got some minutes for you last year. Michaela Whitaker, who showed some really promise and some power last year. But as you look up and down the roster, it's a roster that if you really don't have a lot of weaknesses per se.
Right, which is a great thing.
Absolutely.
But sometimes in that, the depth that we have is important. And, we have 2 players right now that are really kind of consistent, our outside players. If something happens to that, we need someone to be able to step in and do a great job. So, we have great returners, and we have some strong players, Ainsley coming in that opposite position, but having talent that she could move and fill in a lot of gaps. So she's just a great athletic player. That's going to help us to be strong as well.
I was going through some of the numbers earlier and looking at the Crossroads League award winners from a year ago, and of course the champions, the regular season championship. And I look at this: Marion 35-3, Indiana Wesleyan 24-7, Taylor 27-7, and Bethel 29-11, and Mount Vernon 27-9. That's just the first 5 in the league, and,
right.
and the bottom half of the league. Numerically speaking, not saying from a talent standpoint, can beat anybody on any given day.
Sure.
So let's speak to playing in one of the best conferences in the United States and what it's like to have to get your athletes to crank it up a notch each and every time they go out on the floor, especially when you're playing these teams both home and away, and then potentially having to play them a third time in postseason play.
Right. I am really grateful that we play in this league. It's so fun, and it's crazy competitive, and I wouldn't really want it any other way. I mean, you play a sport to be your best, and so you want to bring your best, and you want to be pushed to grow. And if we weren't in this league, I think you could fall into some just contentment with where you are. But man, you've got to come ready, and you got to be ready to give it all you got when you play in this conference. So I love it. All of the teams are doing a great job growing and getting their programs stronger and stronger. So I hope to see, the top 5 teams in the top 20, top 25 of the NAIA. It's only going to help us all as we climb. But yeah, I think our players know, all of our returners know the type of competition that's in this league, and they love it. And I think new kids coming in get it real fast that these games matter, that you want them more than anything. And just the fun that brings is pretty exciting.
Different coaching situations happen here. You've got a new full-time assistant coach.
Yep.
And let's speak to Eric coming on and be a part of your program and how that's going to play itself out.
Yeah, so Eric joining our program as well as starting the men's program here at Bethel has been just fantastic. Great help for me, and just being able to fill in a lot of gaps. It is only going to make us stronger. So I'm really excited for that partnership. He is really experienced. He knows what he's talking about, and we get along great, which is a plus. So yeah, I'm thankful that he's here, and I think he's going to help us achieve some pretty high goals.
All right, final thought, and you look at where you're at right now and your maturation as a coach this time and a few games into this, or a few matches into this season. You're going to be able to put that 100 victory plateau. Somebody needs to buy Katie a cake so she can have that 100 victory cake somewhere along the line. But in what areas has Katie Weiss grown the most from the time she has come in? Now, keep in mind, folks, who may or may not know, Katie was an All-American here. She was an assistant coach here, so she's seen really this program in all different types of scenarios. So now that I can say this, having watched you grown up during this program, where are you at from where you're at the beginning to where you're at right now? How much better of a coach are you?
Well, I definitely think I've grown a lot. When I started, in looking back, I feel like, wow, I didn't know anything. And I just had to learn on the fly. And but I love coaching. I'm so passionate about it. I can't imagine doing anything else. And so I think that passion just fuels you to grow. And if you feel like you're done growing, you probably are done coaching. Like, you shouldn't coach anymore.
Right.
So I've grown a lot. I've learned a lot from other great coaches, and I have a long way to go, definitely. So I'm excited about the place where I'm at, which is a little bit more comfortable in my own skin, trusting myself a little bit more. But again, I've got a million things that I need to get better at.
Spiritual dynamic and development of your team is paramount. I know that Coach Tony Natale, the AD here, has made a strong emphasis that this is what this is all about. Mm-hmm. Can you speak to the development of this group as young women of Christ and as you move forward, and how much important that is to make that is really the rock solid bedrock of what this program and institution is about?
Yeah. Our team really has grown a lot spiritually, and just in that spiritual growth, you just see a lot of mature growth as well, in who they are, in their character, with integrity and responsibility. And I think that's everything for our program. So yes, throughout the year, throughout this season, there are ways for these kids to grow and be stretched, but being able to take a mission trip with them at the beginning of this season was unreal. To see their hearts open for what the Lord's doing, to see God just really kind of move in their hearts, all of them in a different way, which is really, only God can do that, right? Just met each of them where they were, and to see the openness and vulnerability that came with that, just really bonded us together as a team. And so I'm excited, because I think that heart and the door to our hearts is just open. And so God can do a lot of big things when we're open to him.
Katie Weiss, the women's volleyball coach at Bethel University here in Mishawaka, Indiana. We'll be back with more Bethel University Women's Volleyball Media Day right after this.